Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and this is my review, my what I think of Warner Brothers DC Cinematic Universe now, Justice League, a movie that I, much like many other people, have been waiting a long time for. And I, unlike many other people who are critics who do this full-time for a job, I quite enjoyed what I saw, actually. I quite enjoyed what I saw a lot. And I might get a little bit of flack saying, like, but you liked this, but you didn't like Thor. I liked Thor. I just felt Thor's tonal difference was far too much of a departure from the previous entries to the point of where it was distracting. This movie's tonally different to the point of where I literally thought halfway during the movie, man, I miss Zack Snyder. And I mean that, like, legitimately. I still, right now, recording this video wholeheartedly, miss Zack Snyder and feel he got a huge bum rap when it comes to this entire situation. Joss Whedon was not the right person to pick to finish his vision, mostly because the two are just so different. Both are prolific filmmakers in their own right. Both have dealt with comic book properties before, and both look at things entirely different. Joss Whedon attempted to bring Marvel to Justice League, which made for a bit of an uneven first half, but the last half was great. The last half was awesome. All right, so we all know the general plot line of the movie, I think, right? So essentially, it takes place a little bit after the events of Batman v Superman. By the way, if you have not seen the extended cut of Batman v Superman, I cannot recommend it enough. It was in my top favorite films of 2016, not the theatrical, the extended. The extended really gave us a lot more with Clark, and that was something that this movie desperately needed too. And I think they did the Death of Superman arc. That was a thing, but it led into the beginning of the Justice League, to the forming of the team, and ultimately its success rested heavily on Superman. So there's definitely that. But yeah, by the way, spoilers here. If you don't already know, clearly spoilers are in the tag, but it doesn't really matter. The idea here of Justice League is one that I think Warner Brothers has been having trouble with for quite some time. They started in 2013 with Man of Steel, not really knowing what they wanted to do with it. They just wanted to reboot Superman, 7 years after Superman Returns, which again is a movie that I do feel that after a decade actually is way better than we gave it credit for at the time. And I stand by that. But Man of Steel, for me, was one of my top 5 films of 2013. I adore that movie. I thought it was fantastic. I saw it a few times in the theater, something I haven't done recently. And it's one that I wanted to see continue. I wanted the feelings. I wanted the emotion, the deconstruction of what it would mean to be Superman and dealing with his humanity carried over. It was one of the aspects of the extended cut of Batman v Superman that I really, really liked, was Clark being Clark, getting more of that, especially the scene where he calls his mom just for that guidance. And I think everyone out there can sit there and have a moment where they call their mom, like they just don't know what to do, so mom knows, and he does that. It's one of my favorite scenes. But anyway, this movie was kind of lacking a lot of that. For a movie that was meant to be about hope and optimism, it was missing a lot of heart. The heart was there towards the back end, but it was getting to that it was a little bit wonky at times. Again, enjoyed it, very much enjoyed it, but there are clearly issues with the movie. So for one, let's talk about the length of the film. Okay, the length was 2 hours long. No, this was a castrated Zack Snyder film because he never operates under 2 hours and 30 minutes. 2:45 if you're pushing it lucky. But no, for the most part, an executive at Warner's clipped BVS down by 30 minutes, hurting its run. Here's somebody, and I probably want to say that it's the CEO of Warner's himself, probably wanted it to be a 2-hour runtime in order to get as many showtimes in per day, thinking that they've got a win on their hands with this. And it's not that they don't have a win. The movie is definitely good, but it needs more. We need more team interaction. We need more team building. We need more of those scenes of them coming together. We had those scenes, and they were intermixed here and there, and they worked very much. You could tell that's where Joss Whedon came in. The interpersonal scenes is very much where he came in. The action stuff is quite a bit what they were trying to do with Superman. However, I do feel that the reshoots, I think they reshot most of the finale of the movie, parts of the finale, anything with Superman in the finale. I think they reshot all that stuff, mostly because of Henry Cavill's mustache, which by the way, My girlfriend leans over to me during the movie. She doesn't follow movie news at all. She only knows what I tell her, and I haven't told her about the CG on Henry Cavill's mustache yet. She goes, "Is something wrong with his face? Did they CG his face?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he had a mustache. He was shooting another movie. They couldn't shave the stash, so they CG'd it." And she's like, "Wow, it's really distracting." We saw the movie, by the way, in 3D, and the 3D of this was fantastic. As far as 3D movies go, it was super clean in 3D, and that was actually one of my biggest problems with the movie. The image was far too clean. It looked like it was shot digital, which it was, obviously, but it didn't have the grime and the grit that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman had. It didn't have the tonality that those other two ones had. And granted, it probably wasn't attempting to be. It was probably trying to be its own thing. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I just wanted to feel like a Zack Snyder movie. It stopped feeling like a Zack Snyder movie and started feeling like a wannabe Marvel movie, which I get it, but at the same time, by the time we got to, Avengers, which was the 6th film in the MCU, we had already had those other films, which had essentially been able to allow them to at least homogenize some aspect of the filmmaking, to where they have it now is pretty much perfected for what they're doing, but this one was still coming off of a darker and grittier film that we never really got. Unfortunately, I still retain hope that there is an extended cut coming out that will be the Zack Snyder version of the film. And I do hope we actually get that, because you can tell that there was something going on with the movie when even Joss Whedon didn't come out and promote it. So again, I'm going to talk a bit about that in another video. I want to talk about how Warner Brothers failed Zack Snyder based upon their own actions. And that's something I'm going to work on for down the road. But for right now, so here's the thing is we have the 5 members, right? Initially, and then of course the 6, and we all know Superman, and that's a good scene. I'll talk about that. But what I liked was you have Ben Affleck as Batman. This is what I think most people have been waiting for. They want more Affleck as Batman because he was great in Batman v Superman. Regardless of all the criticism of that movie, that was one of the things that kind of came through very well. And here it starts with him catching a criminal, and then using fear to bring in a parademon in order to capture it, which I thought was very Batman and very cool. But again, it felt like a very clean, very staged environment. It felt like it was at Pinewood Studios in London or something. It felt on a stage. It didn't feel like it was in the real world, and that was actually a big part of a lot of the problems with the production era of the film. Is that whole notion where things just didn't feel like they were, in reality. It felt like it was on a stage or in front of a green screen. A lot of shoddy CG in the movie too. And I think because they rushed to finish it with the whole Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon reshoot situation, they honestly should have probably pushed the movie back until maybe February of next year. But here we are where we are. So anyway, you have Batman, right? And Affleck as Batman did a great job. I thought he was great as Batman. I thought he was good as Bruce Wayne, and he was struggling with everything that he had done in Batman v Superman, where he was trying to repair the damage he had caused, where he let his anger over not understanding what Superman was, based on how we tend to approach everything in life. If we don't understand it, we want to just implicitly destroy it. It's like a base reaction, and that was his entire goal for Batman v Superman. And here he feels bad. There's guilt, there's shame. It's him trying to right wrongs. He realizes something is coming, something huge is coming, and him and Diana are trying to put together a team. Well, it's mostly him. Diana's off doing her own thing in Paris, stopping terrorists who want to take out 4 city blocks with C4. Never mind the fact that she ends up throwing the briefcase up in the air. It explodes, and that's that, right? It doesn't damage any other buildings. If this was an explosion that could level 4 city blocks, it failed miserably. But I'm just gonna chalk that up to just some lameness on the terrorist part. But that being said, she's off still working in the Louvre, doing her thing, and not stepping into the spotlight. Never mind the fact that she's going out there and stopping crimes. It was kind of a weird mishmash. But she was talking about her stepping away from society, her backing away, and a lot of it had to do with Steve Trevor. Now, Gal Gadot herself has tried to clarify this, stance by saying she didn't turn her back on men. She would never do that, but it's just her dealing with the emotion of losing her first love in the way that she did. And the whole time, Batman uses it on her at one point in time as a way to kind of like jolt her into leading the team, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't feel that he's worthy. He's the only one there who doesn't have powers, and that's something that does actually kind of weigh on him. He's rich. He's he's the benefactor of all of this. He's putting it all together, but he still is the human, so to speak, in the group, and that is going to have some limitations. Also, the fact that he's older, been doing this for 20 years, big thing. That's a big kind of character thing for Batman. But Wonder Woman, she was trying to, get in on it as well, and she wanted to save the world, but she also was kind of tiptoeing, or I should say dipping her toe into the water, not fully coming back out into the light. And a lot of that had to do with the way she felt after the events of Wonder Woman, where she was then, left without the love of her life, for 100 years essentially. Then you've got Victor, right? You got Victor Stone, I think, Cyborg, and Ray Fisher did a good job in the movie. I was a little bit concerned with Cyborg. I don't know much about the character, but I was wondering how they were gonna kind of present it. And at first, he's like some moody teenager, like, I don't know what's wrong with me sort of thing. But you start to realize that he should have been dead. In his mind, he should have been dead. He wants to be dead. He's in this, not pain, but in this transition phase that he doesn't know what to do. His father doesn't know what to do. Every day he's getting stronger. He's getting more abilities, and he's getting frustrated because he doesn't quite know where his place is. And I think that's also really what flowed with Barry Allen, with Ezra Miller's portrayal of it. Now, I'm used to watching the CW show, the CW Barry, and I like Barry, but this Barry was very unsure, very rookie. And I think that's after 4 seasons of The Flash, or at least we're in the 4th season now, you start seeing that Flash has more confidence. This Flash is just starting out. There's no Star Labs. There's no Harrison Wells. It's literally just him on his own, trying to, save up enough money in order to help get his dad out of jail. That's his core function. No Joe, no Iris. Even Iris's scene was cut out of the film that they had shot and everything else. And so there was, that. And so he was just desperate to try and make new friends, and desperate to try anything. And so when Batman shows up and he's just like, Barry Allen, I'm Bruce Wayne, Batman, Flash, whatever, let's go. And so he just joins up the team right away. The total rookie of the group. He's falling all over himself. He's stumbling. He's unsure. And I like that he's not cocky. He's not trying to overcompensate. He's a kid who is very smart and is trying to understand his abilities while, still wanting to help people. He says, like, you guys like to fight. I push people and run away. Like, that's Barry in a nutshell, and Ezra really brought that to life. But my personal favorite, was Aquaman. Jason Momoa just knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. And I never thought I would say that. I never thought I would say Aquaman was awesome, but Aquaman was awesome. And I am stoked for the Aquaman movie coming out next year. So I liked Arthur Curry. I liked that he, was, again, of two worlds, wanting to help man, but still, living in Atlantis, but still not really knowing his place there. There's a little bit of backstory there between him and Mara after Steppenwolf shows up. And as a result, like, it was kind of hard to hear. It was very fast-paced dialogue. I'll need to watch it again to kind of get what they were saying. But at this point, clearly they're not together. That's going to happen in the movie, the Aquaman movie. I love that they prophesized that on Entourage way back in the day. And everyone's like, Aquaman, whatever. And now we're like, Aquaman, yeah, right? So you got that. And I just thought he was great. There's a scene with him when he's talking about, like, he doesn't want to, he thinks now is a good time to die, but then starts opening up his feelings. And then Batman, motions that he's like sitting on the lasso of truth. And so he's just kind of pouring his heart out for the group in this real nice character moment where it was, unwilling or unwitting technically, but still this nice moment of this guy who's like, he's like, man, I'm of two worlds. I just want to, there's a lot more stuff I want to do, a lot more stuff I want to see, and those general fears that everyone has, but he was too macho to express it. And then now he does. And no one mocked him for it. They gave him a little bit of crap, but that was really about it. Like, they're forming the league, they're forming the team. Now the thing is like, when they bring back Superman, which again I didn't know how they were going to do it. They used the mother box. They brought him back to the Kryptonian ship. They worked together as a team for it to work. And then they fight Superman because he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's going on. And the whole scene was great, in my opinion, because they're trying to, like, understand him. And all of a sudden, like, Cyborg's, defenses kick on because he detects that Superman is like eyeing him, like he's going to fight him and whatnot. That provokes Superman. They all try to fight him. Superman just beats all their asses. But the Flash had the best part. He tries the side move where he tries to like get around behind him. And as he's running, you see Superman's eye turn and they lock eyes as he's in the Speed Force. And it's just this, oh no, what have I done? And, you know, they end up kind of getting into it a little bit and he gets his ass handed to him. But then Batman shows up and tries to talk to him, you know, it's like Clark and everything else. But then Clark grabs him and he's choking him out. And he just says, he looks at him and goes like, do you bleed? I'm like, oh my God, he said it. Yeah. I was so happy when that, not only was I happy in that moment for that one line, because I thought that was this awesome throwback to BVS, because that was a great part of that movie. And also a great part of The Dark Knight Returns as well, in the comic and the graphic novel, I should say, as well as the 2-part animated film. If you haven't seen that, go see that, by the way. It is fantastic. But that being said, like, he does it. And then you also hear at one point, very briefly, you hear the Superman theme song during the fight with the Flash a couple seconds prior. Also, you hear the Batman theme song very briefly in the first fight scene with Steppenwolf and the Parademons. So you get a little bit of both of those themes in there, mostly because Danny Elfman did the score here. And many people were upset that Junkie XL didn't come back in. And you know what? I'm okay with that, man. Jack Skellington can score whatever the hell he wants. I'm fine. That's one of the better additions Joss Whedon brought to the table. Now, a lot of people weren't happy with Steppenwolf. That's been a big thing, a big controversy over the bad guy. And honestly, I thought he was better than Ares and Wonder Woman. You know, like, you at least knew the motivation and he didn't hide it. He wasn't hiding in the shadows the whole time. You saw him. He presented himself with his parademons and he was like, I'm here just to mess you up, man. Like, I don't even care. None of you can fight me. None of you can stop me. I am here. You know, and then he made one kind of like one reference to Darkseid. It wasn't even subtle. I mean, nothing about the movie was subtle. Let me put it to you like that. Nothing about Justice League was subtle, period, at all. It was one of those things where you're just like, oh yeah, no. They're laying it out there, but they're laying it out there like a comic book. That was, I think, the biggest thing, is coming off of the dark, gritty nature of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and coming into this more comic booky type film. You know, where they're in the Batcave and then they're in this huge, you know, troop transport, and he's got the Nightcrawler, the gigantic armored tank in a sewer, and it felt so larger than life almost all the way through. And then of course, like, you know, you got this bad guy and the parademons and whatnot, and I can see why people didn't like him. But now the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, no, Steppenwolf wasn't that bad. I mean, like, he was your standard generic villain. Marvel's not any better. You know what I mean? Like, Marvel's not any better when it comes to their villains. And this villain is just a setup for what's to come, because he doesn't die in the end specifically, right? Like, the parademon sense fear on him because he was defeated by Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and everyone else fighting together as a team, which I freaking loved. And then, you know, he gets sucked up back to his home base or whatever the hell it is with the parademons there. And that's it. They save the world, you know, and end of the story. And now Superman is back doing what he's doing. Clark Kent is back. Batman is still fighting crime. Wonder Woman is out there still fighting crime. Aquaman is trying to find himself in the sea. We're going to know more about that come to the next movie. Cyborg is working with his father to better understand his powers. And Barry gets a job working at the Central City PD in the forensic lab division. And he gets it because of he knows a guy who's got a hookup, because he knows the Batman. And that's the thing. The movie itself was actually a lot of fun. I have problems with it. Again, like I said at the beginning of this review, is I do wish there was more with, like, Zack Snyder. I miss Zack Snyder. You guys can download the video for that. I don't care. But I miss Snyder. His touch was missing. And as a result, we had two different films on a tonality level that both worked and didn't work. The script, you know, Joss Whedon came in and he got the co-writer credit with Chris Terrio, but some of the scenes feel a little bit discombobulated due to the fact that there was that mixture of tone, and because of the convoluted way the film was put together and everything else they threw into it. This movie should do well enough to warrant a sequel in 2 years, and give us time to get another director in there to really kind of exercise the vision. I don't think it's going to be Joss Whedon. I don't think it's going to be Zack Snyder. For something like this, a big ensemble thing like this, I would say, you know what, bring in Matthew Vaughn. Bring in Matthew Vaughn to do Justice League 2. Don't do Man of Steel 2. Don't get me wrong, I want Man of Steel 2. But give us Matthew Vaughn to do that, or someone else who's able to juggle an ensemble cast. And I think that would definitely be able to give us a better attempt at Justice League as a whole. Now, there were two post-credit scenes, and I love the first one because it was, again, I love it when these moments arrive in these films, when there's like the team building moments, when there's like those bro moments, right? One of the things I loved about The Defenders was when Luke Cage and Iron Fist were kind of like ragging on each other. You could see them becoming friends, and I just really liked that moment. I thought they both brought it. In this case, we have the Flash and we have Superman, because, you know, again, Flash is still learning how fast he can go. And so he's been practicing, and Superman's like, all right, let's race. Just, I loved it. I loved it. Let's race. Why not? Let's do it. Let's have some fun, right? Let's have some fun. And then, and he's like, which coast do you want to race to? And Barry's like, I've never been to the Pacific, so let's go that way. So they're clearly like one side of the country to the other side of the country, and that is the idea. And I really like that. Now, the second one, the second post-credit scene, I was not expecting. I thought it was going to be a tie-in, lead in to Aquaman. We were going to get something to do with Atlantis and Mera and Arthur Curry, but no. It starts off in the prison where Lex Luthor was being held. A guard tries to get Luthor out of his cage. He's laughing maniacally. He turns around. It's not Luthor. Then it smash cuts to Deathstroke on a powerboat sailing to a mega yacht where it's Joe Manganiello, whatever his name is, as Slade Wilson. I almost said Wade Wilson. As Slade Wilson, and there is Lex Luthor, very much dressed in a Gene Hackman-esque suit, playing a little bit of Hackman-y, little Hackman-y, little Hackman Luthor there going on, talking about, you know, that Superman has returned from the dead and they're forming a little league of friends, and that they should have their own league as well, and that's where it ends. So essentially setting up the Legion of Doom. And that's cool. What I loved again about that is it was not being subtle. It wasn't toying with you. It wasn't going to drop a little thing. It wasn't like I'm putting together a team. It was kind of meant to be I'm putting together a team. Let me tell you about the Avengers Initiative moment. But it was like that, but it didn't feel like some of the other Marvel stuff that has happened in post-credit scenes where it's like a reveal and then a drop. It was kind of like oh yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming. It's so going to be there. You're so going to have fun with it. And that to me says that the new change of the DCEU is heading towards those big pieces. Now, the other thing I forgot to mention, don't know why, is there was a battle sequence early on in the movie where they fought against Steppenwolf. It was the tribes of men. It was the Atlanteans. It was the Amazons. And they're all fighting, everyone fighting against Steppenwolf long time ago. And of course, we see Ares alongside Zeus, you know, and you have all the other Amazons that are there. And then out of nowhere, Lantern Corps shows up, right? Just a member of the Lantern Corps, pulls out a giant sledgehammer, smacks some parademons around, then gets killed by Steppenwolf, and the ring flies off his finger and flies off into the unknown to go to the next person. That was insane. I was like, what? Oh my God. Like okay, so cool. They're leading into this bigger world. And I think this is where their plan is. I think they're going to sit there and they're going to go that direction. Now, listen, as I said, I wanted this to feel like a Zack Snyder movie. And I do feel that due to Batman v Superman's poor critical reception, after a half hour of the movie was cut last year, he got the shaft. But if this is where they're going and they're saying, screw it, we're going full comic book, then I'm on board with that too. And I think both could kind of have a place, given how Warner's is looking to not homogenize the films. They're looking to treat it more like Fox and the X-Men franchise. And that's what they plan to do. So anyway, I liked it. I plan on seeing it again. I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the characters. I liked their interactions. It was wonky script and pacing at times, but overall the movie itself was good. I do want to know what you guys think about this. This has been a long ass review. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.